Leaf with the Legends podcast highlights people doing exceptional work in the areas of sports, entertainment, business, and entrepreneurship. Make sure to like this video, leave comments down below, and subscribe to the channel. As always, be legendary or be lost. Yo, all right, back. We got a legend. We here with Leaf with the Legends. We got a Milwaukee legend, a TSU legend, a Houston legend, Dallas legend. Man, he's a worldwide legend, man. We got the owner, the founder of Trusted Kicks, man, Rico Jones, man. How you doing, bro?
Top of the morning, my boy. I appreciate you reaching out to me. I ain't gonna lie.
Man, no doubt. I appreciate you, man. I know you busy. We're gonna get into all of what you're doing right now, but man, for you to carve out some time, man, that really means a lot for you to, hop on the pod.
Man, you know how I go. And then when I learned the name of the pod, I was like, okay, made me feel special. Like, okay, put the legends in the title.
Absolutely. And I must say, you one of them dudes who constantly use legend. You know what I mean? Like even on some of my posts or some other people posts, you'd be like, man, that's legendary, or man, you a legend.
It's just because I'm learning, like, and I'm just gonna give you your flowers. Like back in the day when you was just playing high school basketball, nobody knew that time was gonna be legendary. It just cemented. We just living it right now. But as we look back on it 20 years from now, we gonna be like, dang, I was doing X, Y, and Z in that moment. And nobody will never be able to recreate that moment. That's why, like you said, I use that word a lot, especially when I'm commenting on stuff or when I'm just trying to show people love. Like, damn, bro, you a legend to me. Like, I can't believe what you have done from playing basketball, going to King, going and continuing your own career, and then growing other people's careers to where they excel. It's just, and then what you do on the side with your own entrepreneurship stuff is like, as I said, you're a legend. And then when I see you do just simple stuff on the gram, like just you with your kids, I'm like, bro, you're a legend. Like, how can you have all this going on and you still taking care of two kids? So you're right. That word legendary and legends is definitely important.
That's love. That's love, bro. That's love. I appreciate you. That's what this podcast is about too. Giving people their flowers, man. But I appreciate that. I'm a humble dude, but man, we gonna shift the attention back to you, man. But I do appreciate that. So let's start from the beginning, Rico, man. Growing up in the mill, talk a little bit about your your upbringing.
All right, so I'm gonna make it easy. I'm learning. I got to get a little bio about myself. So we're gonna start at the beginning. I went to elementary school at 21st Street School. Middle school, I went to Morris. I'm learning. That's where I kind of got a group of people who knew me from Milwaukee when I lived in Milwaukee, and then still living in Milwaukee. And then when I went to Mesmer High School, it was very important because it was down the street from King, and I lived on Capitol Drive. And I'm just learning, like just living by the Midtown area. All the people who in our age grew up in that area, shopped at Playmakers and stuff like that. Being growing up in that area was very influential for me. And I think as I grew up, it went on to go on to TSU. That was very instrumental in my life because it put me in an area with people that were from different areas and different walks of life. And then like how the age group we grew up in right before social media was really introduced. So I still had a childhood where I didn't have a cell phone, or I had to go to my friend's house and just go knock on the door, So I really was blessed to grow up in Milwaukee at a time where, as you know, as kids, we didn't know everything about everybody until we went and saw them play basketball. I heard a story of them playing basketball, and now you can see everything online. So it's kind of like watered down a little bit to me, but just growing up, I would say 21st Street School, being on 21st and Center, it's really like a neighborhood school. So I met a lot of neighborhood people. Going to Morris, more intellectual people. I could see that my mom really wanted me to be focused on books, math, and I kind of learned a lot more there than I would say. And then I did in elementary school, honestly. And then wrapping it up, going to Mesmer was just, it was the Catholic side of school that kind of taught me that sometimes in life, you got to go with the flow just to be in somebody else's community. I look back on that now. I might not have been Catholic. I love God and everything, but like sitting in theology class, sometimes I would be like, man, like if I get an A or a B in theology, like when I go to college, they're not really looking for theology, but here at this school, this is a very important class, So in high school, I learned about things like that. And then, going to college, just kind of wrapping up that little like school thing. Going to college was one of those things where I just look off into the side and just think like, I went to TSU. I lived out in Nashville for 7 years. I got my master's degree out there. I really did things out there that changed my life forever. And probably just being transparent changed a lot of people around me life, like my cousins, my best friends, people who may not have went to school there, but eventually moved down to Nashville. And, we all kind of made TSU our home. So when I think about it and think about who I am now as a person, that stuff really molded me, because I think if any of that stuff would have went different, if I wouldn't have went to 21st Street School and kind of went to the neighborhood school, if I wouldn't have went to Morris, and then if I wouldn't have went to Mesmer, I think my life would have went on a trajectory that maybe I would have went to UW-Madison instead of going to TSU, and my whole life would have been different, So I'm just learning that it's all about journey in life.
No, facts, facts. No, I appreciate that. Appreciate that background. No, for sure. So early on, was it at 21st Street School? Was it at Mesmer, or was it when you got to TSU when you really like developed that interest and that love and that passion for like sneakers? We won't get all the way into entrepreneurship, but mainly like when did you like what was like that first pair or like whatever where you just like
Okay.
I gotta mess with these.
Okay, so I think my first real story that I can really remember is that I wanted the bread 13s. And they came out, I would say, right around the holiday season. That's when the black and red shoes come out. And I'm gonna throw a date out there, I might be wrong, but like 97. I could be right. I think it's like 97 if I look back. My uncle, who just passed away, rest in peace to my uncle, took me to go buy those shoes early from Athlete's Foot across the street from Riverside. Like I vividly remember all this. And then I remember going to middle school because I really didn't have a lot of nice stuff in middle school, but I had just started working as a caddy. And I'm gonna wrap that up with the breads though. But so basically I got the breads, I wore them to school, and I could instantly see the response that I got from people who never knew I existed. I've been to school with these people for a whole year and a half. They never knew I existed. But when I had the Jordans on early, in their mind, and I'm learning older as I get, it was just a perception thing. It's like the materialistic world we live in. Like people noticed that, and they noticed me like, oh, okay, that guy right there is somebody to notice because he has on the 13s early. And I think that right there kind of carved it in my mind, because it was a formula to getting the breads, is that I wanted the breads. My mama wouldn't let me get them. And I saw them soon enough in a magazine where I was able to go and save up the money by caddying and carrying golf bags, and then save the money until the holiday season, where the money started burning a hole in my pocket. And my uncle knew I wanted them. He was like, no, I know somebody that can get them early. So as I sit back and just look at that whole like moment in my life to be, let's say 97, let's say it had to be like 97, maybe 99, I'm not sure around the years. I was like 12 to 10 to 12 to put that together, really carved out the way I really looked at life. Like if I really wanted something, as long as I put the plan to it, I might not be able to get it tomorrow. But if I put the work in and put the planning in, that's what really allowed me to get the bread 13s. And I think just with sneakers being my main entrepreneurship thing, I still like, as I came into work today, because I got to learn about the meeting with the podcast, I was really into work just punching on the computer, because I had the same thought like it was the bread 13s. Like, hold up, I really want the brand new Corvette. It might take me 3 years to get it, but I got to devise a real plan today in order to get it then. And that's kind of how I looked at sneakers. And I think in the beginning of all that, my mom, which is really what we talk about a lot, is my mom is the catalyst before all this, because we were middle class enough where she could have afforded to buy me all that stuff. But since she didn't do that, it instilled to me that I needed to do it myself. And I think as I learn now about life, like she could have just went out and bought me the bread 13s, gave my uncle the money, but it wouldn't have had the journey. And I wouldn't be sitting in the store I'm in now if it wasn't from her turning me down. So I think that sneakers, yeah, that moms plus sneakers and the entrepreneurship it took to get the sneakers, which we can honestly say we see every day nowadays with sneakers. It was just so important in my life. It was a catalyst to where if I look back, and it's like my second or third podcast, and I speak it out loud, I can't just even leave it out. Like, man, if it wasn't for sneakers, if it wasn't for mom saying no, where would I have been just anywhere in life? That was so important right there.
Man, I love it. I love it. No, and it's crazy how I won't say it's crazy, but it's kind of ironic how those earlier experiences just shape. Look, damn near 30 years later, 25, 30 years later, you like, damn, like if moms would have just gave me them sneakers and I wouldn't have had to work for it, then it would have been a whole different trajectory. So That's love. Like I said, shout out moms, for instilling that. And I know like I said, we've been rocking for a minute, so I already know she a grinder, she a hustler, she an entrepreneur, she getting it in too. So, the apple don't fall far from the tree for sure.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
graduating not from Mesmer, what made you choose TSU as obviously a HBCU, kind of far from the crib? Like, what made you choose TCU, or I'm sorry, TSU?
What I'm learning is, as I really look back at my decision back then, because I like to be transparent, because I know you got a younger demographic and I got one too. Honestly, I really picked TSU because I knew it would be fun. Like, no offense to like colleges and
That's fair.
picking degrees or anything, because that's very important, especially when you're taking on loans. But I really don't have no excuse that I went to TSU because Jason Fisher, who went to King,
Yep.
went to TSU class of 04, and he just
Yep.
came back and was ran and raving. And it's before social media. So I really just took his word on it. And he was like, listen, bro, if you come to TSU, you're gonna have the time of your life. And I'm just like, man, like the only other options I really had, shout out to moms, because only filled out for TSU. She filled out for like Whitewater, Parkside, like Auburn, like, like schools I knew I could go to and have fun.
Yeah.
But like, it was just something that attracted me to TSU. And just logistically wise, Nashville's only 9 hours away. I love the drive, and I know I could get back and forth. If I really want to get back home, I could in 9 hours, versus like going to like Whitewater or Parkside. I know I will be home every day. It would be no incentive for me to stay at school. So I really picked TSU because of what I heard about how fun it was. And when I got there, I really learned that it was more like, it was a lot of fun, but it was work also. Like I didn't really put into what it was going to take to graduate. But when I got there, I was like, okay, it's a lot of fun, but people in here really working hard to figure out how to have fun. And I see that was another correlation that I needed when I went to college. Because I think Whitewater would have been great for me. I probably would have did great, graduated, but honestly, I don't think I would have never left the state of Wisconsin and had the bigger picture if I would have stayed in Wisconsin. Because college was, man, it was just like you met somebody one day, they were from Atlanta, and then they come in your room the next day, like, yeah, bro, my financial aid ain't kick in. I'm gone. I'm like, bro, I just met you yesterday. And they be like, I can't pay $20,000 a year. I'm gone. And I was like, oh man. But then I go to Atlanta, bump into them, and it would just be, you came across so many people from different walks of life, and just showing love to like that area, like HBCUs, and just going to school with people who look and breathe, who were black and brown, and some white who went there too. We all collectively were like, we here together because we all from out of town. So it was, even the Memphis people were 3 hours away. So it was more like I would say a Whitewater. Everybody like, you want to go back to my mom's house? We can go get food right now. We can go wash. We can go do everything we need in Milwaukee. Go get our hair done. In Nashville, we standing on our own two legs. Like, dang, bro. Like, can I use your iron? Because mine broke and I can't afford one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so it's what I needed to really push forward. And I think as I look back, because I like to go back there and see how TSU works, it's so family oriented that I might have needed that in that moment because I wasn't that great of a student. Now I hit 3.0s at Mesmer because my mom was on top of me, but college was more one of those things like wasn't no mom to be on top of me.
Yep.
So if I didn't have the lady in the admissions office reminding me that school costs $20,000 a year, and then just certain things happening where people found out. I don't know if I can say this yet, but it's so far like the guy who went to King. I'm not gonna say his name. He went to King, but he
Okay.
worked in the admissions office. He really helped us get in state. He really was like, no, bro, y'all don't gotta go back home. Y'all don't gotta pay $100,000 to go to school. Like, we can do these things to help y'all get in state. And it really worked to where the next year I went to school for $5,000, like it was that community. It was that community that I learned I had to, and what I try to do nowadays with myself when I'm helping people, that you really got to work together to make everything work, because the journey is not just about you, it's about everyone else also.
Facts. Facts. Man, no, you hit around the head, bro. You hit around the head. And I mean, other communities been looking out and with especially educationally, so why can't we? So shout out to the King grad who plugged, who was in that admissions office.
He the
So
man for that. I
yeah,
swear, he changed my
facts,
life. He changed my
facts.
life. He changed
No,
my
I
life for
love it.
sure.
I love it. So talk a little bit about, let's fast forward a little bit. So when did the concept of trusted kicks come about?
Okay, that's a
Or
that's
when
a good story.
or when and how?
We are still in Nashville when it came about. We are at the end of, I have graduated undergrad. I'm starting at Allstate. That was my first like real job. Like moms pat you on the back, fill out your 401k. They got a pension, like top 100 companies. Like I felt good. Like I made like 45 grand a year.
So this like 2010-ish.
2010 is, you're right. I
Okay,
swear you're
bet,
spot on.
bet.
I graduated in May 2010. I went to start working at Allstate August this time, 2010. So we're talking about 13 years ago. I was working at Allstate. Thank God for Allstate because they offered me a position that paid well. And they were really like, no, you in grad school, go to grad school. We want you to go to grad school. So it was hand to hand. And then just something I'm learning about credit and everything is that in that moment, I made a decision that I didn't want to pay student loans. So I was smart enough to get my graduate degree because that kind of put them on the back burner as long as I was in school. So I was really like, okay, I don't got to pay my student loans. I can get another degree. Already got a nice paying job. And then in that little pocket, I really just started doing what any male does at 26, however old I was, 25. I just started accumulating so much shoes. Like I really was just buying sneakers, and it was more or less back then. It was so easy in Nashville just to walk in the mall and pick them up. It's becoming that now, honestly. But even the limited releases, we really didn't have to do that much work. Shout out to people like TF Fat Caps, homies like that, who was just like, you know, bro, y'all buy a shirt, y'all locked in. And I would be like, cool. Like, I have every Jordan shirt and all the Jordans. You know, it was perfect for me because I was making the money. So when Trusted started, it was right in that pocket of Concord 11s came out that Christmas. When they came out that Christmas, for a transparent moment, that's why I like these moments. I am standing in line at Champs to get the Concords. It's me and Brandon Huff, another King alum.
Yep,
We stand in line. Quasi's there too, matter of fact, and B Suave. They all there.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Everybody's there. They all got their money, but I'm the only one there. In my head, like I'm about to overdraft my card. Like in my head, I'm like, it's cool. I got overdraft protection. They gonna charge me $30-some. It's more sense just to overdraft my card than not get the 11s. So as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking about it. I'm like, dang, if it was a place like GameStop that really bought the shoes, I definitely would have let them take a couple pair of shoes in my closet for dirt cheap, because I understand that premise from sneakers, just to get the newest item. I mean, from gaming, just to get the newest item. So that was like the first little thing in my mind, like the little, you know, you get that little seed.
Yeah.
I went home, kicked it with Huff and them and Suave, and we talked it over, and they was like, bro, that make like a good idea, but you're gonna need a lot of money to buy shoes. See, that was the thing, it was always about capital. So it's still about capital, honestly. So when I was back then, I was thinking like you guys are right. So what I did was, and what I'm learning was just ingenious marketing, is to start Trusted. Of course, I went through the name thing, picking a name. That took a little while, but pick a name after a week. I started Trusted by going on Craigslist, finding somebody who created a website. I sat with him for like 5 hours when he was creating my website, and really just looked over his shoulder and just watched everything he did, like the websites he went to, the templates he used, went back home, and basically after paying him X amount of dollars, made the original Trusted website. And what I'm learning now when I think about on it, like it was just natural to me, but it's crazy. I really took all my shoes, posted them on Instagram, Facebook for cheap prices, and then dropped the website. And then when people went to the website, it was stuff on it that they could buy that was so cheap, they had to take a chance on me as a businessman. And then me not knowing what was going to happen, the first day I might have made, I mean, like $1,900 was crazy. You know, like $1,900 I made off selling my shoes, and I still had like 50 pair left. In the week, I might have made 15 grand. And that's where it gave me the lump sum where I was like, oh, okay, I sold all my shoes, but I got the cash. What do I do now? And then what I'm learning, and the next step to running a business is that I need a customer base. So I just was telling my friends like, hey, you know, like I buy shoes, Nobody wanted to sell shoes back then. So then I just started buying the shoe releases when they came out. People would buy the releases from me in Milwaukee because of course they would sell out in Milwaukee. I would mail them up to, dang, this story come together so good. I would mail them up to Anthony Goodman, rest in peace to Ant, who was my hub in Milwaukee. And people would meet up with Ant, because this is before Cash App. This is Western Union days, you know, so they'd meet up with Ant, give Ant the money. So he was collecting the money in Milwaukee. That was my Milwaukee hub. And it was just good business in that time. And then what I learned in that moment was people would swear up and down they wanted the shoes. Shoe come out, don't have the money for the shoe, but still want the shoe. And they willing to give you whatever you want. Like, no, bro, I would give you 7 pair of shoes, you know? There's no value, there's no eBay, StockX, you know? They're like, I don't care. As long as I can get the bread 11 that I told you to hold for me, I will give you 3 or 4 pair of shoes. And then I would take those and sell them online. So as I just think about where trust started, I was at Allstate in graduate school, Allstate, because I got to tell this part for anybody listening. I don't want to be long-winded, but I got to tell this part.
You good?
Allstate, yeah, Allstate really put the gasoline on the fire because they were so supportive. Like as a company, they was just like, no, whatever endeavors you got going on, do it. Like I was on salary, so I'd be like, no, I'm about to have a sneaker meetup outside. They was like, cool, have them come in the lobby, make sure it's safe. You know, they went hand in hand with what I had going on. So, you know, if you are going to work somewhere or when you need to start your business and you need capital, you work somewhere that's really supportive of what you got going on. It goes hand in hand, you know. So in that moment, Allstate, graduate school, and then having the sneakers going up to Anthony Goodman in Milwaukee, I could really play the markets against each other. And then when I sat down and really was like, told my mom, like, I'm gonna quit my job and open a store in Milwaukee, that's probably the craziest moment of my life because my mom being a principal who taught me so much about having a good job, 401k and pension, she still can't believe that I quit it to open a sneaker store, you know? So I think like when I think about that process of what it took to get there, I believed in myself. My company believed in me. My friends believed in me. My friends in another city in Milwaukee and Anthony, they believed in me where they shopped with me. And then I really was able to just, I know I see people do it all day now. I really just worked social media to my benefit that when my mom didn't believe in me, I had so many people who did. It was like, Mom, you tripping. Like, you don't even know. Like, you don't even know what's going on. You tripping.
Like I'm validated online, right?
I had the sales numbers. I had the market share. And then I really believed, because this is where I was pitching to her in that moment, I really believed that don't open a store in Nashville. Like Nashville was great in that moment because it was just a lot of colleges there, but a lot of my core friends had left because we were getting older. You know, they went to graduate schools in different areas, law schools, moved back home. They started their own businesses or started working in the professional field. So I didn't really know as many people on campus to really rely on. And I knew if I went back to Milwaukee, where I was born and raised, oh my God, the whole city would just come out and Rico had a store. You know, so it was one of those things where I was able to convince myself that when I brought it to my mom, she was more like, couldn't believe it. But I really had my ducks in a row, just being prepared. Where Allstate was like, listen, if it don't work out, we got our central office in Bolingbrook, Illinois. You can get your job back in 6 months with no issue because I had the licenses through them. So, like I said, having them to fall back on was a real cushion that I'm seeing a lot of people taking risk that I didn't have to take in that moment. That I really had everything built in. And then, of course, after I opened the store in Milwaukee, it was all over. It was bananas after that because it was real easy to see like, oh no, people like it. People will come downtown. People will shop here. My mom came down finally, maybe like took her 2 years to even come down, you know, because she was waiting on her I was right moment. You know, she came down, saw it. So as I line that up, it just the beginning of trust, it definitely played a lot of factors where I had a lot of support. And just to make sure I don't forget people, because I know they might be watching, I had a whole different family. Like I got my family, but I got a whole family with my ex who supported anything I did. Like, man, when I graduated, they came. When we lived in Nashville, they came. When I opened the store, they came. They spend money every day. Like my family I have now, my biological family, and I have an extended family where it's 100 of them and it's 100 of my family, and they just support so much that in the beginning I didn't need anything, but them. That's all I needed. So it was perfect, you know. And I think that's the beginning of trusted right there.
That's love. That's love, man. That's a hell of a journey, bro. And I mean, to see, you know, from graduating, going to grad school to what you built now, like that's impressive, bro. So, you know, shouts out to you and everybody that's been a part of it, man. So, and I know, you know, early on and even now, like, you know, you you employ a lot of friends and family. Um, like what goes like what's your hiring process? Like, is there official hiring process with Trusted, or is it kind of just a like don't mess this up type thing? Like,
what I'm learning is because it's the key to trusted is my big piece to my portfolio is I cannot hire just anybody in the field of trusted because it's so specific and specialized. And then sometimes it's so specific and specialized. I'm learning I don't even want a person who's in the field. I'll take somebody who's out of the field but got a good work ethic, and then I'll just teach you everything it takes before you until you become specialized in it.
Right.
Like a few of my managers, I would say my boy Brandon in Houston, Aaron Butter, who's here in Dallas, and then Chad in Milwaukee. They were average sneakerheads. Like they just went and bought the Jordans they wanted. They might not have been able to tell you the year shoes released,
Right.
but I knew that working with them on a daily basis, me and Brandon in Houston sold cars together. Me and Aaron been best friends since high school. We did all types of businesses together. Chad came in through the store with his son, so we did business deals like that. I could tell that they had a good work ethic, and I could tell that their mindset was like, okay, we gonna make money for the bigger picture. See, sometimes you'll hire a sneakerhead, no offense to sneakerheads, but they want to better themselves first. And sometimes that doesn't work well when you have in a sneaker store. You know, that's why I like to tell people sometimes when people ask me am I hiring, I'm telling them I know who could work for me when I meet you, because you're gonna exude certain things are gonna come out your character and your integrity when I know you can work for me. But I'm learning as I grow my business now, having the 4th store open and not wanting to be in store every day like I am right now, covering shifts, is that I need to maybe create a career section so that I can get in candidates and really figure that out. But to answer your question directly, after owning the store for 10 years, it's scary to think. Other than my man Tony and maybe like 3 or 4, maybe like 6 or 7 other employees, everybody that I hired, I knew them. And maybe we weren't friends and family, but we were friends. You know, like GT, this is people that they might know that they follow the trusted world. GT, Coleman, Deco, kicking it with Meech. These are literally people in Milwaukee who came in the store one day with an idea. Deco became the cameraman. Then I was like, no, bro, you work for me. And then, you know, Meech was on the YouTube. The YouTube started blowing up. Thank God for Meech. I'm like, no, bro, you run my development. And then me and Adam Tango, can't forget him, been friends since high school. He just has the creative mind where I'm so much hustle and bustle, where he'll make sure that the creative stuff is sprinkled in. Like you said, I didn't really hire them. They were already around and offered their assistance. And I was like, nah, bro, I can pay you now, you know? And as I look forward to growing a business and I'm learning as I want to scale this business, I owe them more than what they're getting paid now. You know, maybe not double, but a lot more because they do a lot in a daily basis. And it's just on top of me because I'm used to it. But when I really remove myself from it, I'm like, man, I don't know how they're not having a mental breakdown dealing with the stuff they got to deal with and trust it. And before I have let people just come in and be like, no, I can be a manager, took them down to Houston, had them be a manager, crashed and burned. Because the Houston, I mean, trust is not made for everybody. You know, you got to be able to buy a MacBook, crack screen iPad, and make sure the Jordan's not fake, and make sure they're not trying to steal the bank. You know what I'm saying? All in the same 5 minutes. So that was a good question about the hiring thing, because a lot of people want to work at Trusted, and I just want to speak into existence. The last 2 summers, I had programs where I had younger youth in the business, where I had last summer I had 4 younger men. They were of the age of I had 2 young ladies too. They were of the ages of like 12 to like 17. Okay. They came in, price tag stuff, watched us buy stuff, worked the floor. In that program, I paid them, and it worked well because I was able to see a return on what I was giving them mental wise, you know. And I like to pour into the youth. That worked well last summer. And then this summer, I really didn't have the stores open because I was working on reopening them. So I had my nephew mainly. He was the only worker, and I poured into him. And I know next summer I'll get it started again. So just, I think career-wise, that's a good question. Like, I'm really learning about that. I would rather hire those people who are interns. They might be like, it's a kid, Nehemiah, you know what I'm saying? Nemo, like he's the man, he's 16. He Rachel and Louis' son, you know?
Come
like
from great stock.
I would hire him. You see what I'm saying? I would be like, bro, whatever you got going on, come here after school and work for me, because he's already in the world of Trusted. He knows, he understands the hustle and bustle. He know he got to take out the garbage, take a photo, greet customers, tie people's shoes, take out, you know, clothes and iron them. So I think just to answer that question, it's like, you know, how hard it is to hire people sometimes. And we handle a lot of cash here, you know, just to be transparent. Like, it's money going, like I sit here, I do my book sometimes, and my accountant is just appalled. Like, y'all could have bought an apartment building in the last 4 days, you know, like all the money that's just transactional. And I have lost let's say 10 employees and friends and family that have stolen and broken that trust, you know? And that's what happens in this business, you know? So I just think it's, and I'm still friends with them. I'm like, that's a crazy thing too. You know, we'll still be friends after that, you know, because we just not business partners in that sense. So I think just hiring wise, I don't have a career tab on the website, but if I see it in you, I'm gonna give you a job.
But yeah, it's a lot that goes into it, man. You know, I've obviously, you know, I've been knowing you for a while, so I know a lot of the people who, you know, who've been around, and that's why I was kind of curious. You know, when I was coming up with some of the questions, I'm like, damn, like, I wonder, like, is there a like like an interview process, or how do these people get affiliated? You know, with Rico and trusted? But you know, shout out Tangle. You know, repping the willing and able. You know, he designed that for us. You know, for yes. So you know, it's just a lot of, and it just shows like the amount of talent. You know, in the in the city, and then in other cities as well, and like how they trust you and how they rock with you. So like, you know, as we talking about other cities, like you're in Dallas currently right now, right?
I'm in
Like
Dallas
as
right
we
now,
talk.
sitting in the Dallas
So
room.
you got trusted Dallas, you got trusted Milwaukee, you got trusted Houston. Like what that's just the shoe stores, like or the stores. Like what goes into those decisions? Like why Houston? Why Dallas?
What I'm learning is, because I got to start including this, is I spoke with a lady the other day from Pepsi, but she lives in London, but she was in Dallas working for Pepsi. And she just explained to me what she does is market research. And me and her spoke for like 3 to 4 hours. And I was just telling her that I'm learning that I don't know if it's embedded in my mind, but I've always been good at being able to, like, when I moved to Nashville, the moment I moved there, I'm asking the people from Memphis, like, bro, why are y'all wearing polo boots? Y'all ain't never heard of Timberlands? They like, nobody wear Timberlands, you know. And I was able to look at that, like, hold up, y'all grew up your whole life thinking polo boots are cool. I never seen a high top polo boot in my life. I'm asking them, like, y'all ever heard of Rockports? They like, oh, men's shoes? I'm like, orthopedic shoes. They had to show me, like, nah, Rockports are orthopedic shoes, you know? So I just think early on in my life, I was really just focused on what was cool in different places and really just trying to monetize that. Like I always tell a story of how I used to buy Camaros in Nashville, drive them to Milwaukee, and resell them in Milwaukee, and then buy Crown Vics and Caprices in Milwaukee and drive them to Nashville, just because the two models were cool in different cities. And to one city in Nashville, Camaro, they didn't even want to deal with that. And they were like leaving them on the side of the road, junking them. And then in Milwaukee, nobody wanted a big body Caprice in that moment. So I think when I fast forward to Trusted, I always look at things like, how can I take it next level? From Milwaukee, I would say, because I'm very good, like you say, being humble. I would say Milwaukee, I was very early on with the sneaker scene. And as I seen it developing, I started seeing things happen that I knew happened in small markets. And I always related to sports. Like it's like it can only be one star player on a team that's based in Milwaukee because they only have so many people who can endorse that player. Versus in New York, the ball boy can be famous and have a million followers and have endorsements because it's a bigger market. So I start seeing all the stores that popped up and they kill it now and they still are some of the best stores in Milwaukee. I see that the market share, we all end up showing up at the sneaker events because it wasn't no shoes to buy in the city. So when I see them at sneaker events, I'm like, man, we all the way out in Atlanta, sneaker con buying shoes to take them back to Milwaukee. So as I tried to be logistical, I'm like, okay, I got friends in Houston. I kick it in Houston. When I go to Houston, I see the shoes are still sitting on the shelf. I see people still wearing the shoes. I say, hey, if I at least get a store in Houston, A, I got my friends, back to the hiring process. I got my friends who can at least come work summer hours. Then B, I know if I go to that bigger market, I won't have to worry about going to a sneaker show every weekend because every day where I live will be a sneaker show. And that would be like app opening a store there. So as I fast forward, I got Milwaukee running perfectly. Chad took it over. Thank God for Chad. He's running it by himself. I got the collective next door where other smaller brands sell their brand in Milwaukee. Yep. Smaller Milwaukee brands sell their brands there. So we work as a co-op there. Once I got that up and running, I was able to come to Houston. Houston was open. And then that's where I would say, I kind of look at it like I say sports. Milwaukee was like going to Marquette's. it was what I needed. It put me on the map everywhere in the nation. I probably went to the Final Four. But as I hit Houston, it would be like Dwayne Wade going to Miami. I won a championship. I got to play with Shaq. I got to run around with the big boys. They got 3 million people, you know, and as I just lived in Houston, as I think about it so much, Houston changed my life because I was able to look at life and be like, whoa, this sneaker thing can work. Like in Milwaukee, sneakers can work because the game is different now. But maybe 5 to 6 years ago, you really had to be like, is StockX going to take over? Are people still going to buy shoes in the store? Is Jordan just going to flood the market? What is this Yeezy thing? And when I went out to Houston, it was more like in Houston, they just wear what they like. Milwaukee, we're very trendy. We'll wear what's cool. If you don't have on the newest thing, they'll tell you like, bro, why are you wearing that? Oh, that's last year. Well, yeah, but in Houston, they focus on last year. They still wear Y2K clothes. Vintage is big. Used stuff is big. So as I looked at the market being in Houston for 4 years and just learning how business works, I wanted to make the next move. And back to your original careers question, the next move logically had to be Dallas because I had Elliot Johnson out here, another Milwaukee basketball star, and my boy Aaron. They were already down. Like, no, bro. They told me 3 years ago, like, you can get trusted Dallas tomorrow. We ready to come work, you know? And they were already entrepreneurs in their own right, so they were just going to lend me the time. So as I came to Dallas and got this open, and just kind of like wrapping that little question up, is that I'm learning now in order for me to get Austin open, in order for me to get San Antonio open, I can't be here by myself. You see, because right now I'm supposed to have an employee here. So if I really build the systems and build out the careers where it's not just friends and family, I'll at least be having someone here to see if they can handle it, you know, right, because right. I do honestly want to get Austin open. I do honestly want to get San Antonio open. I can see a trusted New Orleans. I can see a trusted Atlanta with my mom being living there for 20 years. I can see trusted Brooklyn with me living up there with my wife. I just know that, like back to your careers question, I'm not going to be able to do it with friends and family because I don't have friends and family in all those places. Right. And I can't let that be the hindrance to growing the business. So I do need to open up my hiring process. I do need to give other people an opportunity to, I call it crash and burn, and just see if they can make it here trusted. And another thing I'm learning about just being transparent with people out there is you need the capital and you need the business acumen to be able to afford to pay these people. Right. You see, like I don't gotta pay myself nothing. I make $250 a week. I can do whatever I need on the side because I got real estate and everything going on. But the people who really just going to devote 40, 50 hours to working for me, I really got to find a way to get them to just being transparent. I got to find a way at least to get them to like 50, 60 grand a year. Like, I don't know how to do it just yet. And I'm figuring out different systems and ways to build the capital to do it. I mean, build the sales numbers in to do it. But right now, if they riding and dying with me now, I want to be able to reward them going forward. You know, and I don't want to be one of the people. Yeah, you got to, you know, I'm learning that's how you keep good people, you know, and I'm knowing that what they do, because I was just on the phone with Brandon today and just picked up in him in Houston, that what he doing, me sitting here now being empty on a Zoom call with you would have never happened in Houston. He probably saw 150 people and spent $3,400 and had to pay payroll. You know, he has a lot going on, and I can't act like I don't even see that going on because I did it for 4 years, you know? So I really just want to focus on the next portion of me being a business owner, me being a CEO, is I really got to take myself out of punching the clock. And I've been very good at that for 10 years, and that helped the business grow because I've been in it. People love to see me. I call it the Chucky and Chuck E. Cheese effect. When you come here, you get Rico. But in order to grow other sites and you know, grow my business acumen and my portfolio, I got to really just bunker in, being transparent again, like taking loans, taking on partners, angel investors, first round of funding. Like I've been so close-minded with friends and family where I haven't even opened up my world, where I could have had 10, I will have 10 to 15 stores as soon as I figure out a way to bring people into the world. And I might not know them, and then we can build the trust, you know? So I think that's one of the things that was great for me in the beginning, but if I don't move away from that, it might be my downfall in the end, because right now I'm sitting here literally by myself in the Dallas store because I'm not afraid. I just haven't found someone I like yet. Instead of just going through the processes, interviewing people, letting Aaron, the manager, pick the person, then coming to him like, no, I don't like him. Like, bro, why you don't like him? because he always late. That was your bad hire, you know. So
Yep.
I think if I create the levels and the systems, you know, so it's just becoming a better business owner. And I think as I talk to you, Leaf, and just like I see the stuff that y'all got going on with y'all incubator programs, and when I went to speak to y'all and seeing even the people that I met from speaking at that event with you guys, it's just crazy to see that as business people and entrepreneurs, we all go through the different, I would say, pitfalls, but we all overcome them, and that's what make us the business owners that we are. You know, that's what I tell myself when I came here and I got on the computer. I'm like, I need to figure out a way to pay the debts that I owe and then pay my employees more. How can I do that? You know, so I think it's just going forward as a businessman. I think that is what I'm going to focus on. I got my life figured out. I got my real estate. I'm about to pass my realtor's license next week. I'm gonna get into that world, but I just got to make sure that as I'm doing that, my managers can still be living. You know, they can go buy real estate. You know, I don't want to hinder them where they can't expand their life and take care of their families. So I think that's the part going forward.
That's love. That's love, man. No, that's and it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into it. You know, being a business owner. You know, myself, I definitely feel you. And you know, it's as you were speaking, this quote kind of came to mind. It's quick to hire. I'm sorry, slow to hire, quick to fire. So when I was asking you about the hiring process and whatnot, I'm like, and that's what we do here is like, all right, like yeah, we got a process. We gonna weed you out, you know, training, onboarding, all that. But like when you mess up, you're gonna get the you know, written warning, verbal warning, you know, and 3 strikes, you out.
Gotta
So,
be.
you know, because you know, hey, business is business, but, yeah, it's just it can be it can be a slippery slope, you know, when you working with family and friends, you know, because at the end of the day, like, I can fire an employee and I might not see them maybe once every 6 months, but, you know, depending on what you know, who that person is, you might have to run into them at the barbecue next you know,
Listen,
next
running to them. I'm Uncle Rico to their kids. I had to fire my guy. I ain't gonna say his name. I love him. I
Yeah.
wish right now I can give him his job back. You know, like to the point where I know I'm gonna have another business in another lane that might not be trusted, and I'm gonna hire him. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? He didn't really mesh with the trusted business because he'd been there so long, and I couldn't pay him enough to take care of what he had going on in his life. So we had to move forward, and we moved forward. But I know when I got the money in the Milwaukee area, he's my man's. You know, so like you said, man, you just touched a nerve with me because like I be trying to find a way to get this guy's job back. I ain't got it mathematically wise yet, but he's a good employee. But like you said, he family. So when I had to let him go and we parted ways, like I had to call him the other day, like, hold on, bro, you my guy, I love you. Like, how was your son first day? You know what I'm saying? Like, we still got to connect on that level too, like you said. So it's definitely slow to hire, quick to fire. And then I also learned that when I fire somebody, I'm firing you from my business life. You
Mhm.
still my man. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I still gonna kick it with you. Come over to my house. We gonna laugh at what you did wrong and what I did wrong as an owner, because I ain't always right. You
Right,
know, it's a couple
right.
of my employees that they didn't quit. I had to call them back. Like, hold up, bro, I was tripping. You need your job back. Like, come back. You
For
know,
real.
so yeah, friends and family is difficult, but you take the good and bad with everything. You know, and
Absolutely.
I rather ride and die so far with being the store managers with people I love. Like I say, all my store managers, I love them. And if they quit tomorrow, I would still love them and their kids. But I know they got the same love for the business, and it come with that. You know, like you gotta love this. Like, if in order for you not to go transfer, go to the bank and take out $10,000 because you a signer on the bank, you gotta love this. Because when I put
Absolutely.
you on at the bank, it's only certain limits you got, but you could go there and take that money out. Go to
Absolutely.
Aruba, do what you want with it, you know. So it take a certain level of love and trust where I gotta be like, no, to this level, I love everybody here. Like I got employees that's here and I like them a lot. But once you get here, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna put you on as a signer at the bank. You got a card with your name on it and trusted name on it. Man, you know, you gotta
Yeah.
ride for the brand.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Man, no, this
Man,
you're right, you're right. Hey,
right?
so with Trusted Kicks, like, you know, people got such a like love and over the years, like now, you know, sneaker and reselling and everything like just been taking, you know, just a huge uptick, right? I'm curious to know like what's the wildest thing that somebody has brought in or tried to like trade you for some kicks? Like where you
Okay,
just was like, the hell? Like, are you serious? Like, you know what I mean?
that's a good one. I think two-part answer. First part will be the wildest thing is when people just try to bring you stuff out their house. Like, yeah, bro, I was moving. I want to see you going to take this couch for trade in. And then I'm so random, I'm like, let me see the couch because I ain't doing nothing else. You got it out there, let me see it, because then it might end up in the store, So that is random, and that stuff works at Trusted, like vending machines for trading, cars for trading, especially when we trade and stuff. And then another thing I learned, just a different facet of the business is once you say that you buy, like I buy, like that's why I don't really say I buy sneakers. I buy cool things because like last couple months I got into the Rolex business, very profitable. I got into the computer business, buying MacBooks, very profitable. I got into the business of not only really just taking in shoes and clothes, anything designer, purses, bracelets, Apple Watch bands. I learned that, and this is just a good point to life, that as a world, as human nature, we indulge things and then they sit there. And then what I'm learning is my business is sustainable because you can take that same item that may be these Apple headphones and bring them just like this to Trusted Kicks and get cash or trade for them. Now, that's the pawn shop buys, a lot of people buy, but you can't take those back to Apple. You cannot. You either got two options. Either you throw them in the garbage or you try to sell them yourself. And I'm learning that Trusted has become a place where you can bring these headphones in and be like, no, I want them Concord 11s. Can I trade you these $550 headphones? And I'm going to say the Concord's 200. The headphones, I give you trading value of 180, 200. And then what I'm learning is when I post them on Instagram, if some kid can get these headphones for $200 and their parents don't got to spend $550 on them, I got the whole family.
Yep.
The dad want a MacBook. The mom want an Apple TV. The son trying to get a new MacBook because I sold him this. So the sneakers get you here. But like you said, the craziest things that I buy and being open to buying them, I'm learning that because a lot of businesses, and I'm just going to be honest, a lot of sneaker stores, they stay in their lane, which is good for their business model. But I kind of use that almost like you asked me the wildest, craziest. That's almost like a commercial for me. Like I don't do any marketing on TV, but if somebody literally is going to come trade me a Hummer for 5 pair of shoes and $2,500 cash, and then I turn around and give away the Hummer to my subscribers, which is my new business venture and Trusted, it's all good business. And what I'm learning, which makes me different, which is why people love Trusted, is that I can show up anywhere and tell that story and somebody would be like, what? I'm like, yeah, he pulled up with a Hummer, left in the Uber, left with 5 pair of shoes, 2,500 cash, and then a month later, I gave away the Hummer. And then right then and there, every time that story comes out, I got you like this. The person's like, what?
Right.
Like, no, I gotta follow you guys. Like this is crazy. So,
legendary. That's legendary.
Legendary. And it's things that people won't do that live forever in people's minds. Where if I would have just said no to the Hummer, he would have left unhappy. And then I made so many people happy after that with giving away the Hummer. It was one of those things where I'm just learning that when things come my way, as long as I can make make 2 L's into a W.
Absolutely.
Come on now. It's a win.
Man. Hey, like, obviously we done chopped it up a lot, but like just hearing, like just really just sitting down, just hearing, your story, bro, like you're a for real legend. Like, like you say, the cliche lemons to lemonade, like that's what I see. Like you just polished it and made it a business model and been successful. So man, but the one thing that kind of sticks out for me, and when I was down in Houston a couple months ago, we chopped it up. I want you to talk about the Trusted Club, because I think that whole model and the business pivot that you took on with that was phenomenal, bro. So like if you could just speak on Trusted Club and how you join, what's the perks, benefits, and just I'll let the floor is yours, bro.
I think the good thing is, because we on a podcast, is Trusted Club I have had for 5 years. I got the idea from Trusted Club from a 15-year-old by the name of Isaiah, who told me about another business that he was joining their membership sneaker business. Soul Steals, shout out to Scotty Skinner and them in California. I basically took their model and just duplicated it, but did it for the more Rico lane. So for the last 5 years, I had it. Let's say I had an average membership of 100 people, at $2,000 a month. I made some numbers about to come out. And then I sold them stuff every Friday. So that was just a side business. It never really took off. At the top, I might have had 200 members, $4,000 took care of one of the rents for one of my stores. Now, what really got me to the point I'm at now is, and this is about the journey, honestly, is that we had a break-in at the store in Milwaukee. The store was burglarized twice in 1 week, and I lost $60,000 worth of shoes. And in that moment, I was in Houston, so I couldn't really, like really figure it out. So on the plane ride, I really was just regressing and learning and thinking to myself, like, okay, I put almost $120,000 worth of shoes into one store. If the store would have caught on fire, let's not even take the burglary out. If the store would have caught on fire, I know how insurance claims work. I still haven't got my money back from the 60 grand from the March and February burglaries. So I know how it works. If the store burns down, I don't really get a return on that initial investment. And then also, I don't have anything built. So once the store is burned down, my cash flow's dead. I can't pay my employees. I can't pay my bills. I lose everything. So in that moment in March, I really was just tweaking the business in my mind to when I went to Maui in April for my birthday. I was really stressed. That's why I went. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was down. I'm trying to figure out how to get the shoes back in the store, get Milwaukee back open, bring the shoes from Houston. So I was really just shook. So I was in Maui. I was thinking, listening to podcasts. And what I really came up in my mind was, if I focused on building the residual income from the club, and I'm gonna put it all together, just one little 1 minute diatribe. 2 years ago, somebody offered to buy Trusted Kicks. It's a couple people know this, but a person offered to buy Trusted Kicks. And when he got my financials, I'm just gonna lay it all out. When he got my financials, he offered, just to keep the math simple, he offered 400,000. And I'm like, man, like, okay, I did a lot of work, 10 years. I don't know if 400,000 worth it, but I'll tell you what, $1 million sound like a good number. And I don't gotta pay no tax. You cover all that. I'll take $1 million. He was telling me, like, listen, I will take your business for $1 million if you had more subscribers. And I said back, like, subscribers? Like, bro, you crazy. I do this much in sales. I got this many customers coming through the door. I spend 7 grand a day to make 20 grand a day in inventory. Like, you're crazy. You think it's small. He's like, no, listen, I'm telling you, when you leave and you get your $1 million, you can go to any other business realm, because he's gonna make me sign a non-compete where I couldn't sell sneakers. So I was fine with that. But he's like, you can go to any other business realm and still run Trusted Club. And I was telling him, like, that's my plan. That was going to give me the residual income. He's like, no, I need that $2,000 a month so that even if you leave, I would still have that income coming in. And then over 10 to 20, 30, 40, 50 months, I will be able to recoup my initial investment just by running that. That made me sit back and think. Back in Maui, I'm thinking, like, because that was a year later. The deal fizzled out. It didn't work. Because I ended up just being like, Rico, like, man, I'm good. Like, don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. I'll come back to you. What I did was, store got broken into. I'm thinking, like, man, okay, I lost 60 G's in shoes, 60,000 in shoes. What's the next move? Because I can't redo that move again. I can't go put $120,000 in shoes in the Milwaukee store and something happens. What I did in Maui was I devised a plan, which is the most genius piece of marketing I ever did in my life, was that when I came back from Maui, I made a video telling people the store was closing. So people put the burglary and the store closing together, and for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm talking about, it made it all the way back up to the levels of my dad, who I speak to him sparingly. He live in California. He called me like, listen, son, your uncle so-and-so called me and said, you about to close the stores. What's going on? I'm like, Dad, you never ever called me about anything going on in the store. Right. Now you heard about the close them. So then I had to, what I learned is, in that moment, that gave me the pitch. I said, no, I'm closing the stores because everything's going to go online and everybody's going to have to join a membership. In that moment, it was genius. In that moment, I got 1,000 people to join the club within a month. From April 20th, from April like 15th to like May 20th, we had 1,000 people in the club. That made me $20,000 a month that month. The next month, I gave away the Hummer. What I learned is, just speaking it out, because I don't like to tell all the good things that happen. What I'm learning is, in that moment, it was perfect. I was out of the store. I had less employees, less overhead, less insurance. What happened is my flow of inventory slowed down because Trusted Kicks wasn't a destination point. I learned that. So when you close the store, it works good for the members to go online, but some people like just to come to Trusted, and it's the YMCA. They chilling, they stopping by on their way to Brownstone. They may buy some, or they may just stop to see me or see who down there and chill. Maybe stop to get a hot dog out front from the food truck, because I got the food truck business too. So like I was really learning, like, okay, Trusted is my motion. I got the members. What is the best thing I can do now? Open the stores back up. So basically that's what I did. I closed the stores June 5th, reopened them August 5th. All of them were open, including the new store of Dallas. Right now, being transparent with the numbers, we are right at, I checked it this morning before I got on the call, we're right at an average of about 700 Trusted Club members, makes us $14,000 a month residually. What I like to do is tell that part, because that's where the perks make sense to people. Okay, now these are the perks to being a club member. Now in store, I probably got, in Dallas is sad. So let's go say Houston. Houston, we carry about $13,000, $15,000 worth of inventory. I don't need $50,000 worth of shoes. What I need is $13,000 rotating at the best prices in America, so that you either gonna find out about my business, bring me something to sell me because you saw us sell something that you have in your closet, and then by the time you got there, my favorite line that people selling me stuff is, do you follow me? If you follow Trusted, you know we sell everything cheap. So by the time you got there, you already know we offering cheap. You're not even afraid to hear the cheap because you see us selling at $180. We don't have the $300 price mark. And what happens for the perk for the club members is the club members are able to access those cheaper items at every store. So what that means is, Leaf, if you're a club member and you want to buy the $200 Apple headphones that are posted in Dallas, if you're not a member, you have to come to the store and purchase it at the cash register. If you're a member, you just comment in the comments and say, I want the headphones. We DM you, verify your membership, send you a link to check out. We'll ship it immediately, or we'll have it pick up in store. And in the world of sneakers, that makes this so genius, makes me feel like an evil genius, is that the hype of having cheap stuff will make anybody join the club. And my number one story to tell is, we've lowered the price of Amiri jeans down from $300 to right about $150 to $200. We might be paying $140 for them, $150. We might be making $20, $30. But when they get to the store and the Amiri pants have sold, I seen the mom tell the son, like, listen to him. Because I'm trying to pitch the son on the club. She's like, no, listen, I'm not going to keep rushing here to see if they got them. We're going to buy them and come pick them up. And then the son clicked in his head. He's like, no, you right. How much is that, bro? And I'm like, listen, y'all, it's not connected for y'all. Don't rush here. Don't want to make sure, don't want to see what we got. No, DM us about exactly what you want. Send me your money through the website. And what I'm learning also, just to tell the bigger part, which I like to preach to everybody watching who really listening, is that sales number, that transaction, when they buy those Amiris and they come through the website, they honor that transaction more at the bank than they do a cash transaction. You can make $1 million cash, but the bank doesn't honor it. You can do 2 million in trades, don't honor it. The bank doesn't emphasize on it. What I learned is, okay, I'm making $14,000 a month from memberships. The bank love that. They see that residually. They can't believe it. Then I got all the website money coming in through another entity. They like, this is not the cash register money. I'm like, no, this is the website money. So as that comes in, and as I try to go out and get capital and get funding, the Trusted Club perks, people spend money faster, product moves faster. I don't have anything in the, not anything, less liability in the store. You're not going to want to break in my store to get a whole bunch of stuff that could have been sold last night. That's what's going to happen. Versus before, I had $120,000 worth of shoes that enticed somebody to set me up to be burglarized. It doesn't even, it doesn't even work. And then mathematically wise, because I've been on a little crusade to really teach everybody about memberships, because I feel like it's so much stuff we do in the business world where memberships are left out, that if people knew things like Netflix reported a loss of $4 billion last year and still got a $10 billion investment with seed money because they got the memberships. You can lose money every year, but if you got the memberships, and I got people credit card data, people are honoring that, like, no, you got people card and they're not trying to take their card off. And just another facet to it is Netflix still got to provide you with a $40 million Dave Chappelle special. I don't got to provide you with nothing. I can make that $14,000 a month, and all I do is just post stuff in store, and you're gonna buy it from me. It's just the convenience factor that I'm providing that no other sneaker store offers. And then I'm trying to take the Amazon approach that when you're a Prime member, in your psyche, you feel like you mess with that company more. Like, no, I'm a trusted member. So let's go over to Trusted Kicks because I'm a member. I pay $20 a month. Let me scroll and see what they got on Instagram. And then the brand loyalty is there because now people come in and they'll just put a card on me like, what? I'm a member, bro. You can't hook me up on that. I'm a member. I'd be like, all right, bro, relax. Okay, I got you. You know, you are a member. I have charged your card 4 times this year, and you ain't bought nothing, and none of the drops and nothing. You right? Let me hook you up. So I think just the subscription thing, as sitting here telling you, Leaf, and then just knowing where I was speaking to your business before, I was so transactional with the sneaker store, and now I'm a CEO. I have the small real estate I do on the side with the subscription business and the subscription model. I know now that my trusted brand can be more than where it's at. I know that if I focus and really put the time and energy into it, I can have 30, 40 stores because 30, 40 stores will lead to my goal is 2,000 members a month. If I get 2,000 members a month, easy math for anybody watching, I'm making 40 grand. So when people come in and be like, bro, how you got the Balenciagas at 190? How you got this stuff up for free? I tell them I can lose money. I can lose money. But as long as somebody joined the club to get the free items, residually, did I lose? Really, did I lose? You know, so I try to teach entrepreneurs about that with me doing the coaching calls and me doing the consulting work on the side now, is that I'm learning that anything I do going forward in business, if I can't get a subscription out of it, I need to figure out a way to make it a subscription. That's where I was telling my mom, I learned like I had to look at the rent for my rental property as a subscription. I'm just not charging your car automatically. So now per the lease to stay with me, you got to put down a debit card. I got to charge your card every month. I ain't waiting on you to give me the money. It's just going to be charged on the 3rd. Because if I got to wait on you to give it to me, it might take a little bit longer to come. So, you know, it's just the subscription model, like you asked me, is the most important thing right now. It's my main focus. And I think, honestly, to be transparent with everybody, if I put 10 years into the subscription model, even if we be transparent and say just on the low end, 2,000 members, if I can make 40 grand a month, all profit off that, which will be roughly about 500,000 a year, all profit off that alone, you know, that'll be a big piece of change that can pay rents, pay employees, make sure everything's paid. And then if by the end of the day, if I do, like the beginning of the conversation, if I can get the brand new Corvette I want, we'll know where it's coming from, where I can say, hey, I can wrap it, slap the name of Trusted on the side, Trusted Club on it, and then I'll say I'll drive it for 4 years, then give it away on the club, then get the members back, you know? So if I focus, I can make the money, you know? It's just that subscription stuff, as I try to tell all the entrepreneurs I know, whatever you're in, just try to really focus on something that's going to bring you residual income. Because I've seen a lot of companies be transactional and they don't exist anymore. Circuit City was transactional. They don't exist anymore. Nobody is going to need, I can't think of one off the top of my tongue, but nobody's going to need X business if somebody can just go to Amazon and get it. Another example, I ran an article saying that Walgreens is not doing as well. Rite Aid is about to file for bankruptcy because Target and Walmart got pharmacies now, you know? So if you can find a way to create some type of residual income, at least that's coming in, that when things go shaky, you got that residual income coming in where I'm not worried about the sales numbers, where somebody can break in all 3 stores and take everything. And I know on the first of the month, I'm getting $14,000. I can make it. I can build it all again. If I got to build it from zero, from ashes, I don't know how easy it would be. Subscriptions.
Genius, dog. Hey, genius, man. When you was breaking it down to me, I'm like, it took me like I heard it when we was in the shop, you know, just chopping it up. But then once I got back in the whip and I'm driving, I'm like, oh, this dude is like, this dog is off the chain. But man, I know you busy. We get into the home stretch. So I just got like just to wrap it up. I got 5 rapid fire questions. So I'm gonna ask you a question. First thing that come to your mind, just kind of answer. All right.
Close my
So
eyes.
bet if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be?
My mother-in-law's rice and peas.
One CD you can play, no skips.
Lil Wayne and Carter One.
Uh, you got a table for 6, who are your other 5 guests, dead or alive?
Okay, to be fair, I'm not gonna name my friends because I got a lot of
Okay,
friends.
bet.
I'm not gonna do them like that. Dead or alive, I'm gonna put Nip at the table. I love Nip. I'm gonna go with the standard Jay-Z. I'm in love with people like Wiz Khalifa and all the money he make being on tour and on the side businesses. I love Currency. We got the same birthday. First person I ever met that when I met him, my boy Aaron was on my heels, like quick rapid fire answer. He was like, he loved you. I was like, yeah, bro, we got the same birthday. That's all I can say. So Currency. The fifth person, Kobe Bryant, go. The sixth person, which will probably be random to people, I probably would throw somebody like Juice World up there just because he died, but he lived his life so passionately. I just watched this documentary. Like, I love people who just do what they want, don't give a F about what people think about them. So I put Juice at the table too.
Gotcha. Love. Okay. So, song or book title to describe your life.
It's a movie. That's it. Every day, it's a movie. Every
All
day.
right. And then the last one. What actor would play you in your biopic?
Okay, I got you. This is a good one because this goes back to like what people used to call me in high school. The dude Arnaz from the family.
I know you
I
talking.
forgot. You know what I'm talking about with Kyla
Yeah,
Pratt? People
yeah.
always said I look like him. Always. And then Michael Ealy.
Michael,
One
either
on
I
one.
can see
There we go. One on one.
one on
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, those two people, Michael Ealy or Arnaz from one on one. Arnaz a little buff now, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Snap with the cut up. I'm a little smaller like Michael Ealy. But those two people always say that I look like them. And I think I would say like Arnaz talk a little fast like I do. So I like those
Gotcha.
two people.
No, respect. No, that's dope. That's dope, man. Nah, hey, I appreciate you, man. Hopping on the pod. Leaf with the Legends podcast. Got the legend. Like I said, he's a worldwide legend, man. Sneaker king, real estate, cars, clothes, whatever, man. You name it. Rico is the man. So, hey, Rico, before I let you go, just any other word of advice for aspiring entrepreneurs, business owners, just for
I
people that
got
is listening to this, that where they can be like, oh, okay, like if he did it, I can do it.
I got two things I really try to focus on right now nowadays. I'm gonna do three quick things. The first thing is just for the younger generation. Before you go to college and just take a degree that you don't know what you want, at least take a year or time to figure out what you truly want to do. Because I know a lot of people I went to school with that racked up on loans in majors that they don't even want to use anymore. First thing, that's simple. So just do your research when you're taking them loans, because I took them and it worked out for me, but it might not work out well for everyone else. The second thing is I like to always say is bet on yourself. And sometimes people like my mom will tell you stuff not gonna work, and in your mind you may think that they know more. My mama does know a lot more than me. She just didn't know that much more about sneakers than me. So that was the second thing. Just always bet on yourself. And then I'd like to say the third thing, and I've been really preaching this to the younger people that I keep around the shop and the older people I know, is that stuff always happens. Like, I learned that in life. Like, if you don't wake up every day just waiting for something to happen, you really are living life different, because life is not always going to be good. You got to know that any moment your tire going to pop, you'll run out of gas, somebody going to need to borrow $100. That's just life. And if you let that affect you as it comes, then you always going to be down on yourself, because it's always going to come your way. And that's life. Everybody has ups and downs. The richest person has pitfalls, just like the person who live on the street. So just remember that your problems are not bigger or smaller than anybody's. They just your problems. So just handle it.
Man, hey, that's the perfect way to end it. Hey, it's been Leaf with the Legends. You got
Let's do
Rico
it.
Jones. Man, love, bro.
Bro,
Appreciate you.
appreciate you.
Be legendary or be lost.
For real.